Welcome to Vlog Thursday number 434, VMWTF. We'll just say it that way. And some Homelab Q&A. Man, this has been an interesting morning because so this actually started a little while ago with the VMware thing, and I did a video on it, so I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time talking about it. The video is only 2 minutes, and there's not a lot to say other than, VMware being, well, not VMware, really, Broadcom, the people who bought VMware, doing the things they do, destroying the community. Just, corporate greed drives me bananas. As someone who is technical, you would think that's not a big consideration you would really have to think about, but it is so insanely like driving some of the tech things that go on. And it just drives me bananas. And, me and matter of fact, I know the bearded IT dad recently even talked about CompTIA selling their entire, all their certs to another company. I mean, I get it. And it's just like, there's a need to make money, but then there's the absolute absurdity of making just obnoxious, don't care what we do or what we destroy in our way, megalomania types of money. And it's not like this is your local grocer or even your local bread maker going, I'm going to charge 4,000% more for bread because you can't go to another bread place. No, there's a market, and there's actually several bread places, and I can choose bread, and it kind of, things can kind of work themselves out and etc. But I don't know. I'm not getting too far down the economic topic as much as this. The VMware topic is definitely what it is. Them sending out letters to make sure, and they will exercise their right to audit you because it's in the agreement, I guess. Just, that's just bad behavior. I don't get it. Broadcom, no, more like Broadcon. Yeah, for sure. Oh man, it's I'm reading a book, and I'm on the last couple chapters, and it'll be a book that I think there's enough intersection of tech. So I try to keep the books more tech related, but there's no way you can work in tech and deny a level of influence that has come from Facebook. And I will tell you that book that it's called, and I'll pull it up real quick here, is called Careless People. Wow. That's the only thing I can say so far reading the book. It is, if it was fiction, I would still read it because it's good writing, but it's not fiction. And that's where you just go, wow, like this is real. These things happened. It's a page turner. I have been burning through the book quite a bit because it is it is really wild. So and I mean, I completely ignore whenever I see New York Times bestseller that doesn't have much meaning to me of whether or not a book is good. Not even why I read it. Matter of fact, why I read it was because Cory Doctorow pointed out that, hey, thanks, Facebook legal team. Your legal cease and desist of this and different legal tactics against the person writing the book really raised some attention. Yeah. So other people I see have read it. You just can't believe the things are real in that book. The level of human depravity and greed. It's granted, it's not exactly a technology book, but wow, just wow. That's all I got to say. It's just so many absurd things. And to just give you an idea of the kind of absurdity, the conversation around the body problem. The body problem was where they just pay people to get arrested. They'll just like say, well, who we're going to send to another country before we send Mark, because that country says they wanted to arrest him. Who are we going to send to test the waters? Like there's no concept. The level of the human depravity was just, it's staggering. And yeah. So I'm going to say Careless People, page turner, just throwing it out there, guys. Just throwing it out there. It's not as tech related as most of the books, but I think it's just, it influences our society, and you'll get a better understanding of that influence and the people that are involved in it. And you will not be shocked. Well, you might be shocked. I don't know. I can't even tell. I just never thought. Yeah. Arrest as a service, an offer to you by Facebook. Yes, that is the kind of stuff. But let's talk about things that are much more important next week. And I'm going to try to get this published here on my channel prior to, I got to get the slides finished, of course. I am doing a talk at MSP Geek, and this talk is about Homelab, the self-hosted path to leveling up. And its ideal is to teach people about Homelabbing and why it matters and why you might be interested in it as a way a good level up your tech career. I will do the video and post it on my channel, so that way people who say, hey, I missed your talk, or would like to be able to have a copy of this talk, I'll make it very convenient for them to have that copy, and for all of you, because I try to give away all of my talks. I do. And if you look, there's a handful of talks. I don't do them real often, but some of my talks directly become videos made for YouTube. Sometimes it's a recording of my talk. There's not too many of those because I know they're lesser quality. This one will be me going through the slides. I will probably go through them a little bit faster on YouTube, because obviously there's no Q&A, and I always interact with the audience a little more, because like I do now with a live stream, but I've been standing on a stage doing this. So I'll get this one done. But this is the project I've been, working on for a little bit. I got some fun stuff here that I put in, and I make all my slides available for people who, have interest in them. I'm a very open source person, and, even though I'm taking the time to put a lot of this content together, it's stuff that, you can find, and I made sure I have some funny in here, talking about why you want home automation more than just strings and tubes. I'll be talking about Home Assistant. Nothing in here, I think, would be something would shock any of you that are my regular viewers. Maybe a few of you go, oh, I didn't know this or that. I'm going to bring up like Plex and Jellyfin and the automatic ripping machine, because you can run your own media server, talk about NAS. And I'm going to be referencing many of the videos I already have, such as the video I have on open and free security platforms for your home lab. This video exists already. You can watch it today. And it's going to be kind of cool. I'm still finishing off. It doesn't take me long. Once I get like the outline in my head, which that's what this is, and I have the agenda, I can fill this out pretty good. But I think this is probably good content for my channel too. A lot of you will probably like this video, and some people will go, Tom, you're killing me with PowerPoint slides. And yeah, it is, but I have to keep it true to how the talk is done. I'm not just going to record the talk and throw it on there. So, oh, I should wear that shirt for the talk. Let's get nasty. Definitely. Something else I'm working on, and this is for people who are looking for ad-free versions of stuff. We've been uploading all the new videos to Patreon. That's an option with Patreon now. So if you visit lawrence.video/Patreon for ad-free content, members only Q&A, behind the scenes in the lab, more. Now I try to keep in my head is, hopefully screwed on straight here. I try to keep giving away everything that's like a tutorial for free, but that comes at a trade. You have to listen to an ad read, and people seem to complain about that, which it is what it is. And if we can't come to an agreement that you just don't want to watch it on YouTube, you don't want to watch it as an ad, well, then we said, okay, we have some tiers on Patreon we set up, and you can watch it ad free. And even the ad where it says hire me, I cut that out too. It is just a straight up video with no advertising, not even me shilling for myself. So therefore, if you're interested in that, visit lawrence.video/Patreon for ad-free content, members only Q&A. I am going to do probably, we're still working out the details, but it'll be like a monthly extra Q&A I do. So it'll be separate from the Vlog Thursday one. That'll be for Patreon people. I just want to give back to them, and it's trying to keep a balance on all that. I mean, I don't love ads either. Most of my consumption of media is me watching YouTube videos. And if life wasn't so damn expensive, that we needed to do ads, but that's the way. And I've seen someone in here, ads are the cost of doing business. Yeah, it is what it is. I kind of wish, and this is pie in the sky, Tom, here, if we wouldn't have, in the early days of radio, came up with the advertised sponsored model where they read ads on the radio, which later translated to television, which later translated to YouTube and other platforms, and the internet in general has followed that same media model. You think about it, we don't really have yet a better model. And it strikes me is nothing's obvious until it is. There's a model sitting there in front of us that we just have to try to figure out. And I don't think there's a problem. I never had a problem when social media platforms talked about charging. I'm like, I would like a paid social media platform. The number of people mad about that, I'm like, what do you mean? If I could have a social media platform with no algorithms, no ads, but it cost me, I don't know, $6 a month, $5 a month, whatever that might be, I don't really have a problem with that. Now, it's too late. The horses have left the barn. We can't just close the door behind it. Or is it? Can we have good communities online that for a small amount of money per month? I look at my friend Jeff from Craft Computing. He charges to be in his Discord. As a matter of fact, that's worked out well because the people who pay to be in his Discord, it's part of his Patreon sponsorship. But one of the nice things about that is now he has a group of people who kind of self-moderate. The bots don't show up as much because bot people and the spammers don't really want to sign up for a Patreon and set up a recurring couple dollars a month just to be in the forum to try to sell or scam people, whatever it is their goal is. And so I think there's still a model we're evolving to eventually where people can pay very small amounts. So part of the problem with charging even $1 a month is the processing fees end up eating up part of that. So we have to figure out a vehicle, and don't even say Bitcoin, please, or crypto. We just got to find an easy vehicle to be able to transfer it. I mean, in concept, if some of the transactional fees and some of the other problems related to crypto could be solved, there may be a model where people could spend small amounts of money. But either way, I can't solve those problems today. I will just bring up and say, hey, this is where we're going with Patreon. And yes. Is the video in Patreon the same as YouTube? Same with no ads. But we plan to add more. We're going to probably do some more behind the scenes stuff. So it's just showing, there's a pile of things over here. And maybe I'll take more pictures of them or have some extra. My main tutorials, I just want to keep them free for people. I don't really, honestly, what I know from business people that probably know business much better than me and are much more savvy at it. Tom, you should put all of this behind a paywall and charge for access, or only give half the tutorial and charge it. These are business advisors that have told me these things. And I don't disagree with them in terms of if the goal was to make as much money as possible. But honestly, I tell people, and I've said this jokingly many times, but definitely I'm a get rich slow scheme. So, and I don't even know about my goal isn't even to get rich, but I've always chose not the path that made me the most wealth the fastest. It wasn't always my goal, for better or worse. For me, and I optimize for happiness, and I optimize for community impact. That's and community impact means teaching people, because I think that matters. And there are other people like that. If people were to ask who my internet heroes are, it would be John and Hank Green. If you ask for people who I admire and have done things that are impactful and continue to do so, John and Hank Green are top of that list. Matter of fact, John Green's latest book, Everything is Tuberculosis, is an amazing book. Read that one too. All right. Now I've wandered off topic again. I have premium, so no ads. I don't mind here and there. The minutes of ads and mini infomercials on YouTube was showing super. Oh yeah, the if you don't have the YouTube Plus, it's terrible. To me, compared to what I should not say I will be very specific here. Compared to what my wife spends on streaming services that I don't really watch, I am kind of blown away with just how bad. I've seen it when there's without the ad, with the ads on YouTube, and I'm like, yeah, YouTube gives me, because I like the content on YouTube, and there's a ton of great content out there. I think the YouTube Premium is a great deal. People say, I'd never pay that. I'm like, it's as much as Netflix, and I get more value out of it. Had to cancel renew because stupid Y2 issues. Been a supporter for a while. Hey, no problem. Only give if you can. Please don't give me money if it hurts you. That is not my goal at all. I did try to join Floatplane and was denied. I don't know. I maybe I got to apply again. They denied me before. I've not tried again. And I don't know if I'm a fit for Floatplane. I love what they're doing. I think that's cool. I just don't know because I don't know if I have enough audience there. Like, I would have to push audience to that direction. I don't think there's as much discoverability. I think the people on Floatplane, specifically Linus, of course, and maybe a few others, people like, oh, I will pay for Floatplane to pay for that person's content, and that's awesome. I don't mind uploading to the Floatplane, but like I tried once and they denied me, and I haven't applied again in a long time. So I don't know. I don't follow Linus that much, so I don't his of the content I consume. If someone sends me like, hey, watch this little section of a Linus video, I might watch it, but I don't really watch much of his content. I occasionally, I find him interesting. Actually, like when he was on Colin and Samir, I find Linus as a person interesting when he talks about his business because it's in the same space of what I'm doing, but his actual content isn't something I generally follow. I wonder how CC charges are going in the future. Most companies, including my own, charge the end user for CC fees, so the money you earn is offset by the fees you pay. You have to double check this. There's just a lot of rules around that. Used to, and I don't know where it stands today. Some of the Visa MasterCard companies, for example, had an agreement where you were not allowed to add on charges. You could offer, this is back when it was a physical store we were at. We had Visa MasterCard let us know we were not allowed to charge a surcharge for Visa MasterCard. We were allowed to give a cash discount. You can offer a discount for cash, but you can't do the opposite. Thought it was kind of weird. I wish more people optimize your own community impact over wealth. Thanks, Tom. Hey, no, that's just trying. And like I said, if I'm trying to model myself after people, John and Hank Green are two people that come to the top of mind. So is Cory Doctorow. He gives an absolute plethora of things away and makes a good living off of his books. He's someone that also, granted, he's also he's a fiction writer and just a great writer of the books that are very topical around copyright and laws, and he's someone I admire a lot as well. Hola from Texas. Hard to get you live, so I'm used to 2x sound. Yes, sounds like you finished off one of those bottles today. Yeah. I listen to so many things at 2x. So when I hear someone talking not at 2x, I'm like, did they have an event? Are they okay? Did they suffer from a mental problem as now they're talking really slow? Oh, that's right. I didn't have it set at 2x. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure they replied to me that not at this time or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. You know what's weird? I've talked to people at Linus Media Group, and we've gone back and forth even in Twitter. I think Jake has tagged me and stuff, and we've talked on Twitter. Nice guy, but I don't know. I don't have the connections there, maybe. I've been eyeing the Cloud Gateway Fiber UniFi, but it's been out of stock for so long. Does this hurt your business at all, or do you see it coming back in stock anytime soon? It doesn't directly hurt my business. It's more of a problem of UniFi. I don't really think they intend things to be out of stock. I just think the demand is always higher than their ability to produce. So I don't know, because some things are in stock all the time and some things are not. And that's the challenge when you're releasing something, because you got to remember how, just think big picture here. There's a bunch of meetings that go on. Here's the product. Here's how we're going to launch it. Here's the strategy. And you're like, someone has to answer a question. How many should we make? And someone goes, well, the last time we made too many and they didn't sell and we lost a bunch of money because the stock and inventory started sitting around. So let's make 20% less than that. And then like, crap, this thing's a banger, man. And this thing is going off the shelves. Now, the good news is make sure you sign up for the when you're ordering things on UniFi, there is a notification you can get for when things are in stock. Someone was just commenting this the other day. Where's actually, let's look at the Cloud Gateway. I think that's the one you're looking for. Was it this one, Cloud Gateway Fiber? It's in stock right now if this is one you're looking for. There's a note. I think, don't they have a notification on here when they're out of stock? See, because we're usually getting stuff that are the more commonly in stock stuff. That's why it doesn't hurt the business as much. But get a notification that can help and get them in, and get them to you whenever they're in stock again. Because they do keep coming in stock. They're not just permanently out of stock. Because I think right now the AI key, Where's the AI key? There it is. Yeah. Notify me when available. And you'll find out that even though it may say unavailable now, a bunch will come in like 20, 30, 40, and then they sell right away because everyone clicks on a notification really quick. Browser extensions like uBlock and SponsorBlock will probably lead us to some non-ad based models and content creation. Not soon enough, though. Yeah. Minis forums A2. Is it out yet? I guess is the question. A2. Does it have 10 gig? Is that probably why people are asking about it? Video, storage, memory, wireless. Yeah, 10 gigs. There you go. I'm looking right at it. It says dual 10 gig right at the top. Someone's probably going, Tom, you're an idiot. You're not looking at it. Yeah, that looks like a nice little box. I can go with that. It looks like a cool thing. Let's see here. You tempted to buy it for replace your XCBG? Cool. It probably work good for that. I like the 10 gig. That's a nice feature. You pay per channel, not for the service. That's why I think Nebula is a better offer. Oh, I didn't know that. See, I don't use Floatplane, so I'm unaware. Oh, yeah. I mean, people have asked me about it. I didn't do a dedicated video to should you use the free version? I mean, my answer is no. Stay away from those people. Stay away from ESXi. I don't care if they're back to offering it for free. They're just going to pull the rug again. First time getting to catch one of my live streams. You're basically starting building a Homelab. Awesome. I wish you the best of luck on your journey here. Catching up on the comments. NAS compares, although he tested MSO2, NVMe write speeds were completely broken. Huh, interesting. Hey, Tom, thanks for all the content. I've been running Fedora Cosmic. However, I was wondering if I should be worried about the trusting System76 from a supply chain attack. I don't know them well. I will tell you that System76 has been around for quite a while, and they're not new to the Linux ecosystem. I don't have any real confidence problems with them. So there's not anything I know that has led me to think that they would be a bad steward of Linux. They seem to be a solid group of people. Their reputation is kind of tied to it. And not me directly. Well, yeah, kind of indirect. I've emailed them a couple times. But I know several of my friends that have worked with their develop team and have nothing but nice things to say about them. So I don't have any reason to have a problem with them. But I mean, it's a valid concern. Yes, no to ESXi, yes to XCPNG. That's how I feel. Yeah. For people should Google this in case you're too young to know what that means. But yes, can't wait for Broadcom to start sending out the Pinkertons. Hey, I'm telling you, man, they said they're threatening to audit. That's I mean, really, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not going to rant about Broadcom. It just sucks. Platform 9. I think I've heard of it. I think it was someone brought it up before. I looked briefly at it. It didn't feel as complete. But I mean, I don't know. It just didn't really I think this is the one. Or was it this one? Is it open source? It's not open source. I don't care then. I don't see any GitHub link. I mean, not that everything has to be on GitHub. GitHub doesn't mean open source. Private cloud community edition, but not open source. If it's not open source, it's just like, oh, cool. Here's another rug pull coming at you as soon as we get you locked in. So no, I don't see it as it's not something I'm interested in, because if it's not open source, then I'm not interested. Yes, you did hear Broadcom. Yeah, matter of fact, this is some of my interaction, well, from my friends, not me. They were actually really helpful in sorting out some of the problems with certain NVIDIA drivers and things like that. Like, their team was really on it. They seem like really good, well-committed people to open source. I've not known any security problems from System76, so I assume they have a good build pipeline. I mean, you really don't know. There's not a way to, I mean, they obviously don't want to have problems. And so I don't really think anything negative at all of them. Any tips on troubleshooting TrueNAS crashing seemingly random times? I have it dumping the gray log, nothing obvious. Right before it crashes, I direct shows system reboot requested. That is interesting. Reboots as opposed to a crash usually, to me, feels like processor. I had a super micro system that worked for years and then decided not to. I did try different memory in it, but it would just reboot. It was probably an 8-year-old system, so I knew it was time to probably push it towards retirement. But for years, it just worked, and then it rebooted. But the problem is the rebooting would only occur roughly 3 to 4 weeks apart. It wouldn't do it daily, wouldn't even do it weekly. So you'd make some adjustment, and you're like, aha, I got it. I found it. But then you'd have to wait that many weeks before it happened. And sometimes it might do it twice in 1 week, and sometimes it may wait. It was a backup server, so I didn't care about it rebooting that much. But it was a really hard problem to find. We never exactly found the problem. I just eventually said, this thing's old and I'm replacing it. It is a real pain to do it. Would you recommend any distros to your mom? If your question's more about, like, are you recommending a more basic Linux distro that works? I just go with Pop! OS because it works. It's pretty. It's got nice integrations. It updates fine. I've not had any problems with it. So I don't have any complaints about it. Random reboots can be bad memory. I mean, you can run memtest on it for a while to see if you get a memory error. Memtest is still a great tool for determining if that's a problem. A lot of times you get weird crashing more so with memory than reboots, but not all the time. So it's hard. Rebooting from a processor problem, a lot more common. A lot of times just instability is what happens with memory, but there is a chance of that. But memtest is one of the easy ones to do, is just run memtest on it and see what happens. It may take a long time, or you may have to run it overnight, but that can help determine that. If one of your YouTube friends have to take a leave of absence, whose channel would you want to take over the most, like for a month? So a handful of videos and streams? I have no idea. I don't think my content's like anybody else's directly. Maybe a few. I don't know. So I don't really have any answer to that. I've never thought about it. And I don't think people learn from the people they like, because the style they teach in or whatever. There's people on here who love Network Chuck. There's people on here who will hammer the other way. I really don't like the way he teaches. And that's fine. Clearly, more people like the way Network Chuck teaches things than the way I teach things because he's got more people following, which is fine. It's not a jealousy thing. It's just the way things are. So I don't really think of going on other people's channels because I don't know their style. And I don't want to take the audience they have and show them. I don't like coming on other people's channels for topics that are aligned that maybe their audience wants to know about, and I come on the channel, but taking over someone's channel, I don't know, feels weird. It's not a thought process I spend a lot of time on. That's another fair fact right here. Request random research is the watchdog. Systems have the watchdog timer. By the way, segue real quick here. Fun, interesting factoid. And the Tech Books We Love section of Lawrence Systems. This is just, if you go to Things We Love, this is under books on my website. But this book right here, Where the Wizards Stay Up Late, The Origins of the Internet, really good book. Also, they talk about where the watchdog timer came from because of the uptime needed to start routing packets with systems. So really, anytime someone says watchdog timer, that's a section of that book that was interesting to me. I mean, the whole book was interesting, The Origins of the Internet, because it's a book that really is very detailed, but I enjoyed it. It was, if you want to know a lot of detail about the history of the internet, that book's a good one. Do you have a preferred method to migrate VMware XCP? So there's a couple different ones. Obviously the V2V, as it's referred to, Vates to VMware, or VMware to Vates, which is the built-in importer. That's when that works. And then, I mean, they've done a lot of changes. I remember we had a couple little quirks with it, where if certain parameters, I believe it's if it had the extra boot drive, there was some setting, I can't remember what it was off the top of my head now. I think you had to have the snapshots removed, then it would import no problem. And this is when we last tested it. They've made a lot of improvements. As a matter of fact, in the latest version of XCP-NG, one of the improvements now, let me pull that up. Is this worth talking about? Right here. Oops. They've just made it a little easier. They can now resume interruptions. So this is the preferred way to do it. On modern CPUs with integrated memory controllers, MEMTest A6 is not useful. I would boot into Linux, run Prime 95, possibly. I don't really run into a lot of hardware troubleshooting as much anymore. It's, and someone can slap me and say, Tom, you're just a guy with a lot of hardware. And you're kind of right. I have a lot of newer modern hardware, so I do have the option of retiring some of the older hardware as it fails. I will completely get and I will take the blame and take my notches down of a respected sysadmin who doesn't spend a lot of time troubleshooting hardware. Not as much as I used to. Years ago I did, but I just start replacing stuff. Network Chuck loves his coffee. You are correct. He's a really nice guy. I've actually met Network Chuck before, and I've talked to him a couple times. Jeff, Applard, Jim, etc. They are complimentary, and I think all their content is great. Yes, and all of them are listed on my site. If you go to the site under Creators We Love, I have some podcasts on there, but you'll notice all the people you mentioned are right here under the YouTube channel section. Thanks for your help. Do you have a recommended on using ZFS over RAID 1? Security, stability, I really don't want to switch if no real gain. Using ZFS as a file system is far superior to standard RAID. So I would probably need to better understand the context to what you're asking, but generally speaking, RAID, if you're talking about like hardware RAID is one thing, or software RAID with MD80M, with the Linux RAID is another thing. But either one of those, neither one of them hold up to how well ZFS works. That's one of the reasons I have a joke shirt that says Cult of ZFS, because that's a thing. Have you been learning Netbox documenting? Oh, you've been learning Netbox and documenting your Homelab. Took me 5 hours, simple setup, blah, blah, blah. But awesome. I love hearing that. And for those of you that don't know, Apple Arts Adventure just released a good video on that topic. I haven't watched it yet, but based on the views and based on his previous content, I'm sure it's a good video. And yeah, Netbox is definitely a great way to help document your network. Great video on Broadcom VMware. Well, thank you very much, Willie. Yeah, VMware is just, I don't know what to say. Well, I said it. I did know what to say. I said it for 2 minutes. Just turned on rant for 2 minutes. Thank you, like and subscribe. Have a great day. I'll see you at Vlog Thursday. Thoughts on Zima board? I never had a problem with my last Zima board, so the new one looks cool too. It's weird. I bought the first one myself. It was not sponsored when I reviewed it. I might buy the second one. And they actually reached out to me and said, would you like one? I said, sure, send it to me. Never sent it to me. They never replied to that email. They just said, hey, Tom, we've never sponsored you before. You did a review on Zima board. Would you like one? And I said, sure. And they didn't. So I don't know. My understanding is on both Proxmox and on XCP-ng, it's still a beta feature. So the Veeam support, I've been told before, even by people in here, that the Veeam support isn't that great with Proxmox. And it also, they have like a beta version for XCP-ng, and I don't know if that's much better. I always use the built-in, because to me, the built-in XCP-ng backup makes more sense to me, because it's just, well, first, it's integrated full. It's also a full DR plan. Second, you're not paying more licenses fees. So you can use XCP-ng open source, but if you bought if you're running it for business, buy their support contract, save your money on the Veeam licenses. That's at least how I look at it. No, they hyped up pfSense Plus, but to be fair, you can feel free to use the way back when machine on this. They said eventually in the future they would charge for it. That was on day one of the announcement, which people said this is the end of pfSense. And I think that was like 5 years ago or 4 years ago. I have to look it up, but they haven't changed their stance from the first announcement. It's the same. They said at some point we will charge for this. Now, how much they would charge is a whole different thing, but they never said it would be perpetually free. So I don't know. It is perpetually free with a purchase of Netgate hardware, but is what it is. I'm guessing that not enough people had, they didn't have enough of them, maybe. I don't know. What's your take on Jet KVM and tariffs? My take are tariffs are stupid and are breaking things. Broadcom left a bad taste in mouth with NDIS wrapper for their wireless drivers. Yeah. Well, if you need, and this is where things will get separate, instead of the part that Veeam doesn't support is talking directly to the hypervisor. If you need to do Active Directory, Exchange, or a backup that's SQL aware, and whatever backup tool you want to use for that, you load that on the VM itself. The problem with Veeam isn't that you can't use Veeam with XCP-ng, it's that you can't use Veeam with it talking directly to the hypervisor, but you don't need to. So you now can back up all your VMs, but those specific VMs that have a need, such as AD Object Restore, well, you load that backup tool on the software, because you weren't doing AD Object Restore by tying it to VMware. That's how you would get the full VM restored. But if you wanted, to revert back to a previous version of AD object, then you're going to use some tool that's Active Directory aware. When deploying new networks, do you typically set up router on a stick or use layer 3 switch with transit to the firewall? I think maybe as an experiment 15 years ago, I tried router on a stick. I can't imagine any modern reason to do it. I mean, it's a thought experiment, but who wants to use one port? What only has one port? Anything we're putting in the business has many ports. Why would I try to stick everything on there? Yeah, I don't. I pretty much don't do that. And I don't always need, if there's a need for very large networks and you need some layer 3 routing, then you put that in, but there's not always a need for that. So it's on an as needed basis. So when you set up a network, what kind of network? Most of the small businesses and the clients we service don't have 20,000 devices. They're more like, 100-person office, a 50-person office. They don't usually need any type of layer 3 switching. Look, Willie is 100% right here. Even companies not subject to tariffs are getting in on the raising prices games. Look, any good, well, not good, that's the wrong term. Any business owner who wants to make a lot of money knows you never let a good crisis go to waste. So if there's a crisis that allows for the opportunity to charge more money, the greedy of the greedy will do this. What is the best and easy solution to use my mini NAS as a server, but to use my Synology as the source? Mini NAS as a server. I guess I don't know what type of NAS you're using, but let's just say it's a standard x86 NAS and you load some virtualization tool on there. You can, via NFS share or iSCSI, use a Synology as a destination. So both of those are options. Synology supports iSCSI, NFS, and SMB, but mostly if you're referring to virtualization, you're going to end up using NFS or iSCSI. Instead of using specialized VMs, have you considered using Kubernetes native OSs like Talos and Kubert for virtual machines? Not really. I don't need the extra complexity. The problem with Kubernetes and the problem with complexity that can come with it. Ask Reddit how their upgrade went. Ask many businesses, because if I'm not mistaken, Proton, when they did an upgrade, was down for 12 hours also because Kubernetes upgrades are hard. It's not setting up the Kubernetes. You can follow a click next, yes, put these parameters here instructions. The problems come when there's any breaking changes between versions, then you have a lot more work to do, and nothing fails at scale as much as complexity. So I just never had the need. But I'm also like not running Google. Google doesn't get to, and many other companies that are at the very large hyperscaler size, those companies work because they need systems like that. Homelab people, unless you're training to become someone who knows Kubernetes better or plan to be a application developer or a DevOps person who needs to understand how to build large scale scalable infrastructure, because you're going to build some type of platform where there's going to be 1 million people using it and you need that scalability and flexibility, then great, Kubernetes is the solution for you. I don't build those things. It's not what I do. Is there any Docker solution that will email me when a container update is available and let me update it one click instead of having to recreate every container manually? I believe Watchtower. I don't know that there's an email notification there. I don't use Watchtower, but Watchtower I think is one of the tools that do that. If you type in like Docker Watchtower, a process for automating Docker container base image updates. So reason choose a Dream Machine Pro over the Cloud Gateway Max. If I'm not mistaken, it has larger hard drive support So that is a good reason to do it. I believe also the Dream Machine will support, I believe the Pro and SE both support, double check this on their website, high availability, but you don't get high availability with the Cloud Gateway. Now, maybe you don't need it, so that's not relevant, but it is a difference. Well, the problem is we're in a competitive world, so if raising your rates makes a few extra bucks, might not be a good idea if your competitor is selling for less. Unfortunately, we have, I believe the term is oligopolies. So we have many times where these companies have so much market that you only got two choices, and that one other choice is too far away, or they collude, and that's a whole different problem. Have you tried Sonally Active Backup Synology Dry Client on your Pop OS machine? I don't use that for Linux. I don't back up Linux with that at all. So, oh, Watchtower will email when upgrades. You just have to rate limit the polls from Docker. Interesting. Yep. So Watchtower is the solution. Pricing of service is a fine line. Run into value perception issue if you're too far below everyone else. Oh, that too. That's for sure. I mean, if everyone's charging a market rate of X dollars and you are 50% X dollars, then people may have a question of why you are that much. Uh, with DHCP, but users try to set up manual IPs. You just have to control all the stuff on that your users are setting up. I mean, this is where you can get into full-on network access control, and only people that have been validated can plug into the network. But generally, it's not an issue we run into. We don't really run into a bunch of issues where people are trying to set their own IPs all the time. Oh yeah. I mean, you can set the previous versions to delete, but yeah, if you don't delete the previous versions, then yes, you definitely can run out of space. Yeah, if you're too cheap, well, that's what Willie was kind of pointing out. If you're too far below, people do question it. This is probably the more sane answer if you're asking like for a business environment specifically. The users don't have admin access to their systems. That's not a way to do it. So you don't give them admin access. They don't need it, and that's how you avoid them doing that. And like I said, you could go for full-on network access control if you needed to. People generally build these complicated systems to solve some of those problems, and the complexity is what ends up breaking things. Even when people ask me about high availability, do you need it? Are you sure? There's several questions and steps along the way, because not always do you need it. Just because it's a nice to have, and I get it, maybe you're doing something that's mission critical, but make sure you are prepared for it. Same thing with setting up high availability of switches and things like that. Make sure you update the switches in the same manner, because if you update both switches at once in a high availability system, you suddenly have broke probably the heartbeat between the HA system and the storage array, and now you've created a problem and a big mess to sort out. I have sorted out many messes that were created only from the high availability being set up, and then people doing unexpected things and putting things in a broken state. That's why I always ask, are you sure you need complexity? Always do the minimum amount of complexity. That's just because you can do complex things doesn't mean you do complex things. Ah. Speaking of HA, QNAP now it's new HA beta this morning. That's interesting. Did you ever experience having a security breach with stuff like container escapes? I kind of feel people are unaware how easy to mess up containers. I have not, but I just haven't run into the problem. But yeah, I am definitely aware of the problem. I have users who plug it in devices with static IPs and start IP conflicts. I haven't found a nice, easy way to track down issues without breaking out Wireshark. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why they would do that. Generally, like I said, our users don't have admin privileges, so that solves that problem. Do you think PewDiePie will be the last straw so people will massively move from Windows to Linux? I heard he did that through the grapevine. I don't and have not, I don't think ever watched a PewDiePie video in my life, but I am aware of that he's a very popular YouTuber and at one time was among the most popular, but cool. The more people switching to Linux, yay. I was happy to learn he's switching to Linux. I seen this posted in forums. I didn't have the interest to click on it and see what he was doing, but they said PewDiePie talking about Linux. I was like, great. I like that. I don't know much about what he does anymore, but he's doing Linux. That makes me happy. It seemed positive, I should say. In case, just to clarify, I know there are some less than positive things he seems to have been accused of. I don't keep up with the drama of things because he's not the kind of content I watch. Do you get more contracts to fix broken networks or more contracts to set up from scratch? Probably both. I don't know. It's a split. A lot of times when people are rebuilding network, they contact us going, hey, we're doing a rebuild. Let's come in and do this right. Occasionally it's to fix broken existing networks, but probably it's a split though. Depends on what the problem is. Usually it's to troubleshoot a problem like, hey, this thing ain't working. And we start looking around and we're like, well, this thing is not plugged in right, or that thing is not configured properly. Wouldn't touch QNAP with a 10-foot pole. Seems a good idea. Synology has pissed off enough people that I'm assuming we're going to see all kinds of copies of their software coming in from other systems. I don't know. I mean, I certainly have angered the Homelab crowd. Whether or not we'll actually see all of that, I don't know. It's a maybe. I've been running Ethernet through my house for the first time in 15 years, and recommendations for tools, products to make the process running wires, punching down easier, and punching down the keystones. Yes, absolutely. I'm going to pull one out right now. 1 second. It has been a number of years, and maybe I should do a new video on this, but these are, and I've done this before. Someone's going to hate me for this. This is a pass-through connector that will make your life easier. You get a pass-through connector and you get a little pass-through crimper and away you go. What pass-through means is you don't have to be perfect with the wires. And if you don't wire very often, you're not going to be perfect with the wires. And if you're like Tom, you suck at doing the wiring. By the way, Tom has coordinated large-scale infrastructure projects, as you can see on my channel. Tom doesn't pull wire. Tom's not good at it. I have pulled wire. I'm okay. Actually, I should say I'm okay at pulling wire, mostly a lack of desire to do so, but I'm really bad at crimping. I don't like crimping. I don't mind punch downs. They don't bother me. I've done a lot of those, but crimping, not my thing. And pull through, that's my cheating for doing crimping. Second, go to you can probably find them on Amazon, but I have Harbor Freight close to me. Get a good set of fish sticks from Harbor Freight. They're really cheap there. If it's something you don't do every day, you don't have to buy the expensive brand name ones, but the a good set of fish sticks makes your life easier when pulling wire. So people can confirm PewDiePie was positive about Linux. That's awesome. Some people like pass-through. Is TrueNAS an alternative Synology? Fuzzy. It depends what you're using. So I've done a comparison. I have that video. You can go and it's in my forums. I have a checkbox back and forth. So fuzzy, it is a solution as a replacement in some ways, but not always. It depends on the software you're using. See, Willie likes pass-through. Most of the time I see people complaining about them. There's an issue somewhere else. No dielectric grease, no drip loops, using copper clad aluminum instead of, yeah. There's plenty of other problems. People just think you're cheating is what I've got some hate for. So it looks like the tide has changed. I reviewed them like 8 years ago. Oh yeah, that's right. Komodo is another tool for that. It's another like watchtower way to manage Docker. Unified toolless keystones. Interesting. I'll bite what makes them toolless. Easy snap in, blast panel, 12 keystones. What makes them toolless? Toolless stacking, toolless mini rack, keystones. They look like normal keystones. Is there something I'm missing here? Does it like you push the wire and it cuts them automatically? I'm asking here because I don't know. I mean, I don't dislike them, but there's a person I absolutely knows I trust 100% knows the answer to this. And that's Cody from Mac Telecom Networks. Unfortunately, the UniFi keystones require side cutters. Fair enough. There we go. That is, I trust Cody's answer on this. I feel as though he has pulled more wire this year than I have in my life. I feel confident in saying that. That's fine. Does it open up and not require a punch down? Does it like squish in there? And I mean, it'd be cool if they were lighted. There is no cheating. There's a fine line between laziness and efficiency, and I like to ride that line. Me too, as I certainly would prefer to do things the easy way. I like the easy way too. That's generally what I prefer. But I am going to wind this down. It's been an hour, and I need to get back to the slides I was working on because I want to get those finished because then I got to record. And if you record, you edit, then you upload and all that stuff. Oh, I wonder if Ubiquiti's video wall at RSA is powered by their Connect hardware on the back end. That would be interesting. That is definitely cool. Oh, I do like how my eyes pick over this. You're not wrong. You can see the use of cutters installation guide and tools. Okay. Are you running UniFi firewall as your primary terminal? Yes, I am. Well, primary, I don't know. Primary here at my studio, yes. There's PF senses elsewhere. So not everything is just running with this. I have multiple locations. Therefore, not all locations have that. Some of them are still running PF sense. So it's a mix. Not just one single platform. Automatically, I do. I don't check social media that much because I just find it to be kind of a dumpster fire. So I have a system that auto posts, and once a day, I look for people who may have replied or sent messages. So once a day, I check my auto posts. I wanted the single pane of glass, which is pretty much what made me switch on there. Okay, so that's all you're doing is they're toolless because you're just pushing a cap down on top of it. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. What else? I hold on. Let me find something really quick here. Someone may find this funny. So this became a joke, and I'll share this before I leave. For all of you that stayed this long, I had this idea. Let me read it. It's got to be read as well. Where did it go? I started a joke, and we were saying that someone said I should. It's always been a long joke that Tom should start a tech cult. This has been going on for a joke a while, but this was something stupid I had ChatGPT create because my wife says it all started like, well, you should do all this. So I said, fine. And then I won't lie, ChatGPT wrote this for me. It says, in the name of the code, the kernel, and the holy network, blessed are the sysadmins for their sins, uptime everlasting. Blessed are those that patch in the night, for they shall secure to earth. Blessed are the builders of the backups, for they shall recover the lost. Blessed are the guardians of the firewalls, for they shall repel the malicious. Blessed are the humble in documentation, for their wisdom shall guide future generations. And may your logs be clear, may your clusters be stable, and may 127.0.0.1 always answer your prayers. This is just a silly joke, and this is the text from it that's in ChatGPT for those that want to read it. Yeah, it's stupid, I know, but I couldn't help it. I I don't know where to post it. Like, does this go on? Like, this is directly related to the person's question about social media, and I should post more on social media. Like, I post on LinkedIn, but it's obviously, I post a lot of memes on LinkedIn, so I can't say that it's 100% business. And I don't know, maybe this does go on in Root We Trust. Yeah. I guess I could put it in Discord. I don't use Discord as much. I don't know. I'll figure it out somewhere. One of the social, maybe I'll push it out on the other social apps. I don't know. I don't have a real answer for this, so we'll figure it out from there. All right. That's all for today, folks. Now it's actually over, and that's it. Have fun. Have a great day. Go out, enjoy it, and do the Patreon if you want some ad-free ads or ad-free videos. Thanks. Later.